In this pod, we will look at the reasons behind and the events of the Night of the Long Knives.
Following the passing of the Enabling Act in March 1933, Adolf Hitler quickly consolidated his power. He legally attacked and removed threats to his personal leadership and the Nazi Party. By the end of 1933, only two forces remained that could end his reign. They were the SA and the Army. Hitler was aware that he only needed one military force to control. He had to decide which force to support and which to eliminate.
The SA, known in England as the Brown Shirts, were originally Hitler's loyal military force. During his rise to power, Hitler had relied on the SA to support and enforce his policies through violence and intimidation. They were used to target political opponents, particularly communists, and to intimidate voters. Originally established in 1921, they grew into a large and disorderly group. By 1933, there were over 2 million members, and many were powerful thugs who wanted to commit violence. They enjoyed the power that membership of the SA gave to them and used it to their advantage.
The leader of the SA was Ernst Röhm. He gained increasing influence and authority as the size of the SA grew. The group became his force and followed his commands. Röhm wanted to continue the revolution and to consolidate his role as leader of the military forces of Germany. He saw the German military force with the SA at the center. Röhm implored Hitler to make him the Minister of Defense for the country. This involved bringing the army under his control. Hitler and the other Nazi leaders perceived him as a threat.
The army, limited by the terms of the Treaty of Versailles, was a far smaller force. It contained only 100,000 trained soldiers. In stark contrast with the SA, these soldiers were not a fully submissive unit to the Nazi Party. However, Hitler's desire for a strong, unified country and the abolition of the Treaty of Versailles, as well as his nationalist views, appealed to many. Hitler respected the power of the army and understood the importance of their support following his failed Munich Putsch in 1923. He was also aware of the army's opposition to Röhm and the SA. He saw the potential of using the army to defeat Röhm and the SA leadership, who were a possible threat to his command.
In considering this, Hitler decided to retain the army. He took action to break up the SA and remove Röhm as a threat. This would keep him in favor with the army and President Hindenburg, as they were keen to see the increasingly chaotic SA brought under control. In order to accomplish this, Hitler planned the Night of the Long Knives on the 30th of June 1934. He informed Röhm to gather the SA leaders and meet him at Bad Wiessee in Bavaria. There, unsuspecting key leaders were arrested and executed. Many other imprisoned or exiled politicians that Hitler perceived as a threat or inconvenience were executed. For example, Gustav Kahr, who had been instrumental in the failure of Hitler's Munich Putsch, was gruesomely tortured, shot, and dumped in a swamp. The Vice-Chancellor von Papen was placed under house arrest and eventually resigned from the government.
Hitler deliberated over killing Röhm, who had been one of Hitler's close allies and participated in the Munich Putsch. SS members gave Röhm a gun with a single bullet and encouraged him to commit suicide. Enraged, Röhm said, "If I am to be killed, let Adolf do it himself." When the soldiers later checked in on him, he was found with his bare chest puffed out defiantly and shot to death.
Over 3 days, 77 official deaths were recorded in Wiessee, Bavaria. Hitler was eager to make this purge legal. On the 3rd of July 1934, a law was passed that said the acts of the previous 3 days were justifiable acts of self-defense by the state. Röhm and the other executed leaders were portrayed as treasonous and plotting to overthrow the government. The army and President Hindenburg were pleased with the results, and the purge ensured their support. Hitler was portrayed to the public as saving the German nation from a great danger. The English Daily Mail reported on the 2nd of July 1934 that
Herr Adolf Hitler, the German Chancellor, has saved his country.
Hitler had removed the radical and uncontrollable elements of the Nazi Party, as well as several other key figures. In doing so, he had further consolidated his power and crucially gained the support of the military.